What is up, guys? It is Zack, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about where to learn how to code. So in other videos, I was showing you something somewhat of tutorials. In this one, I'm just going to show you the general best practices on where to learn to code and make sure you're getting the right sources of information as a beginner, intermediate, or whatever. Yeah, hopefully this will give you an easier time learning how to code and building projects, etc. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is, or the first thing to understand about learning to code is that there are a lot of sources of information. So there are platforms like Udemy or like there's a lot of other coding platforms as well, but not some sources are a bit better than others. And if you want to find information that is like from the typically if you want to find the best source of information, it comes from the developers who built a certain programming language or package from that programming language, whatever. So like, for example, if you want to build a Rust project, one of the places you should likely check out is the Rust documentation. Of course, like depending on the project, once you understand Rust to some level, you can start to expand into like building some, I don't know, like a blockchain or whatever. Same with Python. You'll want to check out the docs if you want something specific, and it will help you become a better developer with a more solid foundational education in this programming language. Number one is, yeah, of course, documentation from websites. So let's find some examples of there and where to learn them for different languages. To start, I'm actually going to start with Python. So Python is my primary programming language, so we're going to start there. If you want to learn Python, you're going to want to go to python.org. So in here, if we check out this, this is the python.org site, and they have this documentation tab here. So after like you've installed and done whatever with any programming language you're looking to learn, you can typically check out the documentation on their main website. So for Python, it's python.org. Let's click on Python docs. Yeah, so if we click here, like it's not super pretty to read just off of the bat, but this is the most official source for learning how to code in Python. So if you're a beginner, you're most likely going to want to check out the official Python tutorial right here. And you can also just read the docs. Like you can read, like just look around. There's library reference, setup and usage, how-tos, yeah, installing modules, etc., etc., etc. So if we click on this, let's see what it shows us. So yeah, it gives you an introduction, a really solid introduction, and it talks about a lot of important things here. So let's see. Yeah, so like basic things like numbers, strings, lists, control flow, so if statements, for loops. Eventually it'll get to functions. Yeah, more lists, dictionaries, looping techniques, and yeah, a bunch of other stuff as well. So this is the place to go for learning Python. Let's talk about, let's see. So let's talk about HTML and CSS. So there is an official source for these as well. And there's two main sources that I've found to be the best overall. So the first one is going to be W3 Schools. So this does have a lot of programming languages on this, but this is an official site to learn HTML and CSS, etc. So learn HTML. Yeah, so they have a lot of languages here. Yeah, you don't have to go through the Python thing here, but they might have Python stuff that you could look at, but the Python docs are going to be the best and most official. Also, whenever you're looking at the documentation of these websites, you're also going to have the latest versions So you're going to be having up-to-date information on how to use these programming languages. So yeah, and they updated their website recently, so it's a lot easier to navigate. So if you want to learn something specific about HTML, of course you could just type in like how to do whatever in HTML, and eventually like you should find something like that. But this is just if you want to go through like the official source and get really a feel for everything that HTML has to offer, you're going to want to go here. CSS, so this is the same place to learn CSS as well. And they have everything that you could ever possibly think of about wanting to learn CSS inside of here. JavaScript. So there's two main sources for learning this. One of them is W3 Schools, and the other one that I found to be a bit more useful for learning JavaScript from scratch, and where you could also learn about like CSS and HTML, you could probably also learn from. So the other place to learn this, which also has really good docs, is Mozilla JavaScript. So Mozilla, yeah, developer.mozilla.org. They have a lot of really good guides on this, and this is another official source where you can find some really good tutorials and yeah, learn a lot of really cool stuff about a language. So for all of the web languages, W3 Schools and Mozilla.org are going to be the places that you want to check out. So those are a few programming languages. If you have any more questions, I'd be happy to share those in the comments and help you find those. Now, about packages, the same way like programming languages get updated, like Python's just turned into Python 3.10. When I first got on, it was like 3.6. And yeah, like either way, it keeps updating. So do the packages built with these languages. So for example, Django is a popular framework. And if you're wanting to learn Django, some people go through boot camps, and I've had a lot of students come through boot camps where this is like for some reason, there's a lot of boot camps that teach like super outdated Django code that is really hard to use, and they ask you to build things like kind of the hard way, which on one hand could be good for learning. On the other hand, if you're actually wanting to build something and use like modern code, the Django documentation is the official place you're going to want to look. So djangoproject.com, they have like get started with Django. This is the official place to learn Django. So you can have your, like there's an installation guide, write your first Django app. So they have an official tutorial as well. Yeah, it says it right here, like try this tutorial. Writing your first Django app part 1. So they have all of this documentation nicely organized and written pretty well, and it explains everything step by step on how to build a basic Django project. Now with Django in particular, Mozilla does actually have a really good Django project as well. So if we just type in Django here, Django Web Framework Python. So yeah, so for this, you'll need to understand Python and I think mostly that, and then HTML and I believe CSS. I'm not sure if it'll talk about JavaScript, but it does give you a really good guide through Django, and yeah, you end up building like a cool library app. So that is a great place, and it gives you all of the tools to kind of build your own project. So let's see. For what about like another popular one, like let's say Vue Js, for example, and like React, which is a JavaScript framework. So if you want to learn the official Vue place, you just type in whatever the language or package name is, and then say Vue docs. So Vue JS is a front-end framework for building basically really pretty websites and organizing your code and organizing your front end really well. To where it's like you can make your website super modern feeling. So yeah, Vue is on Vue 3 now. So The version 3 of it is out, and it's amazing. So this is going to be the official place here. You just click get started and you're already in a spot here. Now, what about React? So React docs, this will be the same thing. I found Vue's documentation to be more pretty, and Vue as a language to be a bit, or as a framework to be a bit more usable. But let's see. Getting started React, yeah, like again, official docs. This is the place to go to learn all the modern stuff about it. And if you're learning a language from scratch anyway, you're not going to be a master extremely quickly. So your life will be a lot easier when you read through the documentation and you know what's available. If it's like a language that like you really want to dive deep into and just understand at a deep level. Otherwise, if you're wanting like just need like a short piece of something from here, you can just learn like a thing or two, but it's a lot easier when you have the foundational understanding. So those are the, yeah, in general, all of these, like the official docs for every single language is where you're going to want to learn, especially if you have something specific that you're trying to do that might not be so easily understood on, like that might not be so popular on the web in general. So if you're trying to do something new, check out the language, see what you can do. And yeah, that's going to be that. After that, once you're, another good place for beginners, and yeah, I would say definitely for beginners, for learning programming languages in general. Another good place, of course, is courses, which you can find either on YouTube or on sites like Udemy. So let's see, udemy.com. Whoops, let's see, udemy.com. So this is a pretty cool resource. It's not the best one. Like I haven't found the best course that I've gone through to learn, like when I was a beginner and wanted to learn how to code in Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or anything else related to web development. So the one that I actually went through, and I'm not getting paid for this at all. It's just the one that I went through that definitely taught me the foundational skills. So this one, let's see. So there's another YouTuber named Stefan Mischuk, or Stefan Mischuk. So really cool dude. He's his website, Studio Web, Uncle, yeah, Uncle Steph's Developers Boot Camp. It's not a, no, it's not this one. Hold on a second. It's okay. I'll type in Studio Web. So Studio Web is likely the better place to check this out. So Studio Web, yeah. So his courses, he talks over and over and over again about learning the fundamentals of programming languages, so you'll be able to build pretty much anything in this language. So yeah, he has beginners HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python 3. So if you prefer a more video format, you can check out his stuff here, and he walks you through all of the fundamentals, and he has a really cool learning platform with this. So this is the best course that I've personally gone through, and I did go through his Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I didn't want to really go into PHP that much, and same with MySQL or any of that. So like I went through at least Python up to JavaScript here. And yeah, it was the best course I went through, and I'm pretty glad that I've gone through this when I was a beginner. And yeah, so that's another good place. There's also a ton of YouTubers, of course. Like just look up any language and then free tutorial or any language tutorial, and you'll likely find some YouTube videos that are pretty long. But still, documentation is gonna be one of the best spots. But if you prefer video and that's a bit better for you, you can check out videos as well. So where to go from there? Of course, if you've been in like the development area at all, like the programming area at all, you'll also probably stumble across at one point a website called Stackoverflow. So stackoverflow.com. This will typically come in your search results when you try to type anything like specific into Google. and of course, Google is your #1 tool for coding research. So yeah, it's another just research skill that's also extremely useful. So let's see, say I want to say like how to set up AWS on Django. So one of your top search results here will probably be, oh, well, okay, I guess in that one specifically, that was not the case. What's like a common specific error? S3 bucket not working on Django Heroku. Stackoverflow is like the second one here. So yeah, typically it's going to be either the first, second, or maybe third. And normally it's going to have the answers that you're looking for. And honestly, like outside of these tools, these are the main places that I learn from. There's also, if you're more into like the written way of doing things, so Medium, this website, medium.com. So this is a website that's pretty much like a public blog for a lot of people. And on this one, there are a ton, lots and lots and lots of articles written on specific languages on how to do different things. And I've gotten a lot of help from this place, and it's been really amazing. So yeah, these are, I would say like most of these, like outside of this, there's not really that much else. There is one last one. So Discord. Discord.com. So typically, most of these programming languages do have some kind of a community around them with people that are willing to help and ask for help and all of this stuff. And like just a place where all of these different developers from different disciplines can connect if they're wanting to learn something. So Discord is basically like Slack, or it's like this messaging system that has a lot of features for different communities. So if I open up mine, and let's see here, let's open up this. Any second now. Yeah, so now that we're here, let's see. So there is a lot, or there are a lot of these different frameworks here, or languages, and there's a community for each one. So let's see, it's taking a second to load. Yeah, so there's one for Python, Vue. There are definitely ones for React and JavaScript. Here's a CSS framework called Tailwind that's also available. And yeah, each of these should have their own help channels, and they even have sections on how to get help. So if you are looking to learn and you're wanting more quick help, these are going to be the places to get that. Let's see. So these are good. Yeah. So like how to get help. Typically you can just ask questions in like the general lobbies or whatever here. And yeah, it'll be super duper useful. So that's nice. Yeah, and like they'll tell you all the rules in each of these servers. So yeah, these are pretty good. Beyond this, if you're really wanting help like extremely fast, or if you're wanting to get personally mentored, there are two sites that I know, and I am a mentor on both of these. So one of them is going to be CodeMentor, codementor.io. So CodeMentor is a really amazing platform for getting help. You're able to find mentors like myself who have some sort of expertise. You can look at their profiles. So if we click on, oh yeah, so yeah, this is my profile. Let's see. Yeah, so it's loading. Yeah, and you can see their expertise, what their different skills are. bios, all of this stuff, reviews, everything, even Stack Overflow stuff. So you can find all the information that you need about a person. You can also write your requests and ask for help, which I can make a separate video on how to do that as well. But if you just type in their website, go to that, you'll want to sign up, and you'll be able to access these mentors. Another popular one is a website called wisant.com. So this is pretty much the same thing, except Wisant has like, it has more than just programming. So there's like academic stuff like math and science and music production, all of this stuff on this platform. And it is a pretty good one. This is actually the one I started out on, and it's amazing. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything. That's all the different ways of learning. So documentation, courses if you're a beginner, Stack Overflow once you're kind of already building your own projects, and Discord for if you need help, but like maybe you can't afford to get a specific mentor at the time, or if you are a developer yourself and it's just a bit easier for you that way. Or you can get paid help from a platform like Code Mentor or Wisant. And that is pretty much all I have on where and how to learn to code. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.